Må være 1 tomme unna basen på fjellet, ikke sant?
Yeah, 1 inch rule. That's the distance from the terrain. This is a new 9th age battle between vampire counts and Sylvan elves. The same Sylvan elf army as last time, and an entirely new vampire counts army is welcome back on the battlefield. It's an aggressive vampire count army. You can see the deployed units in counterthrust. Spoils of war is the objective. 3 units deployed. The vampire count dropped first and chooses to drop everything, it seems. Sorry, it was the vampire knights and the 2 bats units dropped first. Now the vampire counts drop everything. The Sylvan elves have dropped the glade guards, fast cav blade riders, heath riders, and forest rangers. You see the objectives, the spoils of war, glistening purple-like along the center line of the battle. Touch of the Reaper may be a relevant spell against the Shapeshifter, who's hiding between the kestrals.
But you do not need line of sight for Touch of the Reaper.
And that's a good thing because he's hiding behind the building.
But you do not need. It's hex, direct damage and focused.
And it's cast by the necromancer. In which unit is the necromancer?
It's right here. So I don't need line of sight, and it's 24 inches within. I'm not within range.
Quite yet. The vampire counts dropped everything and castle up along the center of their army base. The Sylvan elves are spread out with huntsmen on each flank. The dragon mage in the middle. The fast cav glade riders around the center and forest guards here. And here you have the glade riders without fast cav. Now the vampire counts, will they take first turn?
Yes. Vampire counts take first turn.
There you go.
So the wood elf shapeshifter vanguarded up here, where the vampire spawns did not try to charge but failed their frenzy test and had to charge him. In the combat that followed, he took 2 wounds of the vampire spawns, but with the vampire spawns, with 12 attacks from the vampire spawns, including stomp, they killed the shapeshifter and overran into the kestral knights.
2 wounds from the stomps.
2 wounds from the stomps. He had 4 wounds in total?
He lost 4 and had 3.
Okay.
So that's a good start on the flank by the vampire spawns. They only lost 2 wounds themselves. And the vampire knights in the middle?
Yes, with the vampire lord also.
They're standing on one of the objectives.
And so does the forest guards over here who vanguarded on top of the objective.
Yeah. The spoils of war are hotly contested. That was Vampire Count's turn 1. In round 1, the kestrels are starting the heroic defense. They only lose 2 birds being charged by the vampire spawns. They kill 1 wound of the vampire spawns and they stand on a snake eye on leadership. The other kestrels got stone skin cast on them after healing waters was dispelled. The forest rangers fail a charge. They needed 8 on the die against the ghouls. And that's it. The spearmen face against the vampire general. And the dragon throws itself up into the fray. Now it's Vampire Count's turn 2. The Vampire Count player has a classic hero for a general. His comments were instant hits on the battlefield. First he charged the kestrels with the vampire spawns, then he looked around onto his flanks and he said, "Oh, I'm screwed." Because the kestrels have toughness 7 with stone skin. Then the ghoul said, "We'll charge the forest rangers to give the wild huntsmen more juicy flank targets." Under the command of the general, some real sharp comments.
But it's the necromancer who's the general today, so...
Oh, he's the wit in the army.
Yes. So the vampire knights with the vampire count.
Auf Deutsch, bitte.
Hast die kestral Knechten gecharged.
Englisch, bitte, Englisch.
Und dann hast die overrunnet.
Überlaufen.
7 inches. Sofort die Wild Huntsmen nicht im Flank gecharged. Und die Vampir-Spawnen hast die...
The vampire spawns killed 1 kestral remaining.
Killed the 1 kestral remaining, and the wraith swept the dragon, taking 2 wounds, and the necromancer used Touch of the Reaper and took another wound, so the dragon has 3 wounds left. So that was the end of Vampire Count's turn 2, with the swarm chaffing up the spearmen and the ghouls tactically waiting for the wood elves to advance on the right flank.
Tactically waiting.
Tactically waiting. And the vampire spawns here, the vampire knights, excuse me, tactically move in to aid the general. The general also tactically moves out of charge range from the dragon. Tactically.
Tactically speaking.
I have a major in strategy. Everything is tactically.
And these are the undead heroes of the unsung Vampire Count army. Wood Elf turn 2. On Sylvan Elf turn 2, the 3 elites, the Dragon Mage, he's a fighting elite today, and the Wild Huntsman and the Forest Rangers charge the ghouls, killing every single one of the 27 ghouls. They did no wounds in return. A bad day for the undead and ghoul flesh renders. No flesh rent.
No flesh rent.
The spearmen crumbled the bats after doing 5 wounds and overran, so they had the skeletons lurking in their flank on the other side of the forest. Healing waters is cast on these wild huntsmen, preparing for a charge from the vampire spawns, and the dragon heals 1 wound and is up to 4 again. Now, turn 3 for Vampire Counts.
So a lot happened in the Vampire Count turn 3. The Wraith first failed their march test and could not sweep the dragon, which was here, but they moved 1 inch away from the dragon in hope that Danse Macabre could make the sweeping attack for them. They made the sweeping attack in the magic move. The Wood Elf player dispelled Touch of the Reaper, but Danse Macabre went through with 8 sweeping attacks, where 4 of them wounded or took the 4 last wounds of the dragon, killing the dragon, ending up in this position. The Necromancer also summoned a chaff unit, an extra chaff unit over here, just to try to make things more difficult in this area. The vampire spawns over here took a march test, which they managed, and they moved over here, kind of nulling out some of these wood elf units. The skeletons over here, they moved into the forest, clipping the objective or the treasure chest in the spoils of war, also making the banshees within range of shrieking on the wood elf spearmen. The shrieking killed 10 spearmen.
Indeed. A good round for vampire counts. A bad round for mages on dragon. On turn 3, the Sylvan elves use all their cavalry and spearmen in the back to surround the blood knights and the vampire count. So they're in a pinch. The vampire count lord, thinking he was mobile and king of the field, is in a pinch. The forest rangers, however, only did 4 wounds to the wraiths, losing 6 in return, and a draw in the battle. That's everything the Sylvan elves had to use, except these blade riders in the rear here, trying to get in on the rear of the remaining vampire count army. We'll see if we play on from round 4 tomorrow.